This is Joe Basso with MusicRadar, and I'm here with Ted Kornblum, the CEO, president, big kahuna guy, right, of the revived Magnatone amps brand. And Ted, why don't you tell me how you got involved with bringing back Magnatone?
You know, it's a interesting story, and people in life, they have things in mind. They have a plan A, and then they sometimes think about what I would do as maybe my plan B. So I think everyone needs to have a plan A and a plan B in their life. And
I'm going to write that down, okay?
Plan A and a plan B. So my family started a music company in 1922 called St. Louis Music, and my grandfather, Bernard Kornblum, founded it, and he was an immigrant from Europe, and became a really great distributor of products. And then my father got into the business, Gene Kornblum, and he grew it even larger, St. Louis Music, adding to it Ampeg amplifiers, Crate amplifiers, Alvarez guitars. So one of the things that my folks wanted me to do was to learn a little bit more about life than just working in the family business, but I loved artist relations, and I loved working with the musicians. So I did some work outside the company, but then I always came back to the artists that I really found interest in learning from. And to make a long story short, family businesses are not easy. I love my father and I love my family business, but I really like to be in control of my own destiny. And so Magnatone was a sleeping brand that my grandfather had first started distributing. And I looked through the catalog of old vintage Magnatone, St. Louis Music catalogs, and Magnatone was in there, and I was like, well, what is this brand all about? So I did a trademark search.
Right.
And you know, they say that trademarks are important. Well, they really are, because the Magnatone trademarks were all expired. Everything was expired. So I immediately went online and registered them, and kept it as Plan B. So about 4 years ago, I decided to assemble the team of engineers that are really some of the best engineers that used to work at Ampeg and Crate Engineering, and I assembled them, and I've insourced the entire company operations to the majority of the operations to the most talented manufacturers, engineers in the USA. And so what we've got now is a brand that's actually come to life, and I didn't want to bring it back to life just with one or two products. I wanted to make it available in a series and a full line.
Well, we're going to take a look at some of these, but let me ask you now, one of the artists that's been very involved with Magnatone, and there's been a lot of artists that have a history with Magnatone, like Neil Young, lots of artists, but one who's been really involved is Billy Gibbons.
Yes.
And he's been involved with this amp right here we're looking at.
Yeah. Billy Gibbons is a longtime friend, but just an incredible musician and knows tone and has the ability to clarify it also. He's not just an artist, he can clarify what he wants through words as well as music.
And this is called the 59, right?
It's a Super 59, he named it that. It's 45 watts. It's a 2x12 combo with a master volume channel, which has volume, bass, treble, presence, and then there's also another channel which is just volume and tone. So you have two complete separate amplifiers, in a sense, inside of this, two preamps I should say, inside of this, and it has vibrato and it has tremolo, and those are important features because amongst all the things that the world has created of amplifier manufacturing, vibrato is our unique trait because we patented the pitch shifting vibrato circuit in 1958 using a non-moving part to create that effect. So Billy's a very big fan of tremolo, and when vibrato became back available, he was like, I like that idea, but we also recognize that tremolo is important to have as well. So we put both tremolo and vibrato in this amplifier.
Well, I heard this backstage last year, and it sounds amazing.
Well, you know, what you heard was a very interesting experience because Billy has road tested these amplifiers as well as Elwood Francis, his guitar tech.
That was a prototype, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And Elwood and Gary Moon are both instrumental in making sure that the amplifier is able to maintain its quiet sound of idle in the recording studio as well as live, and it's just a really nice feeling to have road tested, frankly, all these models before they come to market.
Now the Super 59 has a brother or sister, right?
It does.
That we're looking at right here.
It does. You know, not only is it a little bit lighter, but it's 15 watts versus the 45 watts, and we wanted to make something that was very basic, easy, quick to tone, so it's got volume, tone, and master, and then it's got the vibrato section exactly the way it does on the Super 59 with the ability to switch between vibrato and tremolo. a feature that we share between both of these and all amplifiers that have vibrato is a foot controller that is enabling you to slow down and speed up the vibrato by moving your foot pedal. And it's a really unbelievable effect, which we can demonstrate later, because you're able to slow down to a very slow vibrato speed and speed it up.
We're going to take a look at a couple more. Okay, so we've been talking about one sort of sound, but now there's another aspect to the Magnatone sound.
Absolutely. You know, lots of guitar amp companies try to fit both sounds in one box and call it the same model.
Right.
We decided to split them up and say we want two discrete different sounds.
And so we have this gentleman here.
Larry Craig.
Larry Craig
is my Mr. Clean and dynamic range.
Dynamic range.
Neil Young's one-time guitar tech, too.
For 37 years.
That's one time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All
Okay.
right, my thing is to have one volume control instead of a preamp and a master volume control. A lot of people turn up their preamp control, turn down their master, so you get a buzzy preamp sound with a clean power amp, and that gets a little tiny thin buzzy B sound. What I like, and this is coming from Neil, is output tube saturation, and the only way you can get that is by having the one volume control. So as you turn it up louder and louder, yes, you get some preamp distortion, but you also get some output tube saturation. That's where you get the beautiful bloom and the really good tones come from that. So all of these have just one volume control.
These would be called the
This is called the single V, yeah. And also we have the Twilighter over there, but they only have one volume control. Okay. And just turn it up, you know, and you can have a lot of dynamic control with your fingers, so it can be clean and sensitive, and you pick a little harder, and now you're getting into the dirt a little bit. Strum real hard, you're totally dirty, and you haven't touched any knobs.
And these are basically the amp that Neil's been playing on tour.
No, he plays a Tweed Deluxe, but it's based on that.
It's based on that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He plays a Magnatone. The Magnatone amp with Neil is interesting, I gather, because of the stereo feature on it. Because he goes into his Tweed Deluxe, and then he goes padded down signal into the Magnatone stereo vibrato 280.
He does use a Magnatone in his rig, but the main thing is this Tweed Fender amplifier with output tube saturation, and that's where I'm coming from.